Welcome back to the new session. Today we are starting module 3. So module 3, it is basically treatment of water. And the purpose of treatment, we all know, we want to remove all the impurities from the raw water for our domestic purpose, is it? We want to treat the raw water for converting that raw water into our safe domestic drinking water, is it? So now the treatment of water, it consists of different stages of treatment and different process of treatment we want to adopt for getting a clear water. And this is a typical layout of the conventional treatment plant. So here the first unit, it is written as the screen, or it is with the intake. We already learned how to draw the surface water. Whenever there is floating matter is there, you want to provide a screen, is it? So from the intake well, we are pumping the water to a pre-settling tank, PST, a pre-settling tank. So the pre-settling tank is nothing but a tank for settling the suspended particles. If it is freely settleable, then it can settle there, and then this particular water, after the pre-settling, it is taken into a inlet chamber. So inlet chamber is nothing but a small chamber where the pumped water is collected, and then it is transmitted to the next treatment process. Transmitted to the next treatment process unit or unit. So here the PST and as well as this inlet chamber, it is optional. It is optional. The PST, that is the pre-settling tank, is recommended when the turbidity is very high. When the turbidity is very high, for example, during the flood season, our turbidity of raw water in Pamba River, it may around 300 or 500 MTU. So in that case, if pre-settling tanks are there, you can settle a certain turbidity there. The suspended particles can be removed to a certain extent in the pre-settling tank. So then inlet chamber, again, it is an optional unit. Once the water is pumped to the inlet chamber, if all the treatment process units, that is inlet chamber, the aerator, chemical feeding, the clarifier, filter, etc., all these units are at a very high elevation. That means at an elevated location. The treatment plant units are located at a very high location or a very high elevation. Then you can have this inlet chamber to control the flow. So that from the inlet chamber, the water can flow to these further units. That means the preceding units can be by gravity alone. All the flow can be by gravity. There is no need of pumping. That is the purpose of inlet chamber. Otherwise you can directly pump the water from your intake directly to the first treatment process unit, that is aerator. The first treatment process unit is aerator. Here actually, again aerator is an optional unit. So the purpose of aerator is to remove the gases, remove the dissolved gases and the foul smell, and also we can remove the iron or manganese if present in excess. If it is present in excess, we can remove it by aeration. So then if it is not there, you can directly take the water to the clarifier. Which is the next treatment process unit. So usually aerator is recommended or provided in conventional treatment units to remove the foul smell or any gases, dissolved gases is there, we are recommending. And if it is iron is excess, we are recommending aerator. So aerator is considered as the common or conventional first treatment unit. Then that particular water is taken into a chemical feeding chamber where the chemical is added, and then this chemical treated water, it is now taken into the clarifier, that is a clarifier where the actual sedimentation process is taking place. So this clarifier, it can be a clarifier or it can be a plain sedimentation tank. Again, it depends upon the quality of the water which you have to treat. So then from the clarifier, we are taking the water to the filter beds or the filter units. So after filtration, we are collecting the treated water to the clear water reservoir. So that is a reservoir, a storage tank which is located in the treatment plant site itself. There we are providing the chlorination, or we are providing the chemical feeding, that is the chlorine. So we are adding there to disinfect the water, and then after the disinfection process, we are taking the water to the storage tank. It may be a high level OS tank, overhead reservoir, or it may be a ground level reservoir. So this tank is our storage tank from where we are distributing the water to the public, to where we are distributing the water through the distribution network. So these are the conventional treatment units in a treatment plant. Now we want to learn one by one. We want to learn what is the process, then we want to design each unit. Okay, so now as I mentioned, the screen and the pre-settling tanks and the inlet chamber, these are optional units. It is the design is not much important, and again since there is no treatment taking place, there is no processes taking place, there is no process or there is no treatment at all. Only in screen we know it is the floating matters we are removing, that is from the intake itself. Now coming to the sedimentation. So sedimentation, as we all know, it is the gravity settling. So sedimentation, whenever we say sedimentation, it is plain sedimentation and it is by gravity settling. So now, what are the objectives of the plain sedimentation or by the sedimentation or gravity settling? So the sedimentation, it may be plain sedimentation or it may be clarification, that means sedimentation with coagulation, that is called as clarification, or it may be chemical precipitation. So the sedimentation can be any of these three types: the plain sedimentation, sedimentation with coagulation, that is clarification, and chemical precipitation. Now coming to the objectives of sedimentation. Objectives of sedimentation, the first one is to remove the suspended solids. We know the suspended solids, it is usually settlable. So we can remove the suspended solids then by settling. Then reduce turbidity. So we know what is turbidity and what are the causes of turbidity. So we want to reduce the turbidity to a certain limit so that further treatment can be taken place in the clarifier and the filter. So we want to reduce the turbidity. Then third one is to remove the colloidal particles as flocculated matter. So if the particles are settlable, or if the particles are freely settling, then it can be removed by plain sedimentation. But if it is not settlable, then what we want to do, or how the colloidal particles can be removed, since we know that the colloidal particles are not settlable at all. So we want to flocculate it. See, we want to flocculate the colloidal particles so that then after flocculation it will settle. So the flocculated matter, we want to remove the colloidal particles as flocculated matter. That is another objective of the sedimentation process. And fourth one is to remove the hardness by precipitation. So again we know the hardness, it is caused by the dissolved particles. You see, the dissolved particles, the dissolved matter. So that dissolved matter we have to remove, that is by precipitation. So we are precipitating the dissolved particles, and then the precipitate is allowed to settle. That is the purpose. So that is the objective of the sedimentation unit. It is four. That is, one is remove the suspended solids which is easily settlable, or reduce the turbidity so that the water can be treated in further process units, and then remove the colloidal particles as flocculated matter. Since we know the colloidal particles are not easily settlable, we want to flocculate it first. Then by removing the hardness by precipitation. Okay, so now if these are the objectives, As I mentioned earlier, the sedimentation is of three types. First one is plain sedimentation, second one is sedimentation with coagulation, that is called as clarification, and third one is the chemical precipitation. Then we will go in details the plain sedimentation as well as the sedimentation with coagulation, etc. And before that, what are the factors affecting the sedimentation? So when we design a sedimentation unit or when we design a settling tank, we want to know what are the factors which affect the sedimentation. So the first one is the size, shape and density, the nature of the particles. We know the suspended particles, the size, it is very small, the shape, then the density of the particle and the nature of the particles. So what do you mean by the nature of the particles? The nature of the particles means it is whether it is discrete particles or it is other particles. If it is discrete particles, we know the discrete particles will not change its properties, is it? The discrete particles will not change its properties. So we want to know whether these particles are discrete particles or the other type of particles which is non-settlable particles. Then the viscosity, the density and temperature of the water. That means where the treatment process is taking place. That is the viscosity of the water, the density and the temperature of the water where we want to conduct the sedimentation process. Then the third one is the surface overflow rate. Surface overflow rate means it is nothing but when we are designing a unit, we want to know what is the surface overflow rate. How much quantity, that is cubic meter per second is flowing. How much water per unit time it is flowing over the time or over that particular unit. That is the surface overflow rate. Then velocity of flow. That is the velocity of flow within the treatment unit. Within the unit, what is the velocity of flow? Then the detention time. So detention time, it is the time taken by a particle to move from the entry to exit. That means the time taken by a particle to travel between the entry and the exit of the particular unit. That is the detention period or detention time. Then last one, the effective depth of settling zone. Effective depth of settling zone means if this is a time, say this is a time, the particle is settling. So the particle is settling and here there may be already deposited particles are there. The deposited particles may be there. So then the effective depth of settling is this much only, is it? This much only the effective depth of settling. So that is the that we will learn how to calculate the effective depth, etc. So you just understand the factors. There are different factors which affect the sedimentation process. So it is a very complicated process. You cannot control the sedimentation effectively if you are not designing the unit properly with respect to what? With respect to the size of the particle, with respect to the shape, then the density and nature of the particles. That means whether it is discrete or it is settlable particles. Then it is viscosity, density and temperature of that particular water. Then the surface overflow rate you have to control. Then the velocity of flow you have to control. Then you have to provide a particular detention time. Then you have to have an effective depth in the particular settling zone. So these are the points we want to bear in mind when you are designing a sedimentation unit. Okay, now we will move on to the type of settling. How the settling will take place with respect to the nature of the particles. With respect to the nature of the particles, how the sedimentation process is taking place or how the settling process is taking place. That we will discuss. Okay.